breaking. Every single major media outlet in England just delivered the same verdict on Tino Livramento. And what they're saying about our Newcastle star could change his entire international future forever. What's up, Toon Army? And this is NUFC Quick News, your source for raw black and white passion. Tonight, we're diving into something massive that the mainstream media buried in their match reports. Let's get into it. Here's what happened in Belgrade that has everyone talking. England demolished Serbia 5-0 in their World Cup qualifier, their biggest statement under Thomas Tuchel. But while Harry Kane grabbed the headlines, our boy Tino Livramento was quietly putting on a masterclass at left back, and then the ratings dropped. The Mirror, 710. BBC Sport, 710. The Telegraph, 710. Standard Sport, 710. When was the last time you saw every major outlet give identical ratings? This wasn't coincidence. This was consensus. But here's what they didn't tell you in those match reports. Livramento didn't just play well. He was flawless in the areas that matter most. 98% pass accuracy. Won all 4 ground duels. Never got dribbled past. Never lost possession. These aren't just good stats. These are elite numbers against Serbia away from home. Think about that for a second. How many Newcastle players have ever dominated an England performance to the point where the Telegraph, BBC, and Mirror all use the exact same rating? The BBC said something that should have every Toon Army member buzzing. The versatile full-back linked well with Newcastle teammate Anthony Gordon down the left. Full of energy and found a good balance between defense and attack. That's not just praise. That's recognition of a partnership. Here's the part that's got me excited. Tuchel is building something around the Newcastle core. Gordon started. Livramento played 90 minutes. Dan Burn has been key in previous matches. This isn't random selection. This is strategic trust. But let's talk about what this really means for Newcastle. Standard Sport wrote, given a show of faith ahead of Miles Lewis-Skelly and Jed Spence. Our translation? Tuchel chose our boy over Arsenal and Tottenham alternatives in Belgrade against Serbia in a World Cup qualifier that had to be won. The Telegraph delivered the knockout punch. May not grab the headlines, but this was an effective performance from the Newcastle fullback. Good in the duel on his flank. His defending was solid. Effective. Solid. Good in duels. Those aren't flashy words. They're international quality words. The kind of words that separate Premier League players from World Cup starters. And here's the kicker that nobody's talking about. Remember when Tuchel sent Livramento back to the U21s this summer? The media coded a step backward. Eddie Howe stayed quiet. The fans were divided. But look at the long game now. Livramento won the U21 Euros. Came back to England seniors, started in Belgrade, got universal 710 ratings. Tuchel knew exactly what he was doing, and our academy graduate just proved him right. But there's a bigger picture here that affects Newcastle directly. When your fullback is getting this kind of international recognition, 2 things happen. 1, his transfer value skyrockets. 2, he becomes virtually unsellable because he's now part of England's World Cup plans. The Mirror said he really staked his claim. Claim to what? A World Cup starting spot. Playing for England at a major tournament. The kind of experience that transforms Premier League players into world-class defenders. Think I'm overreacting. Look at the stats again. 90 minutes played, 54 touches, 41 of 42 passes completed, 2 tackles, 4 ground duels, won all 4, 1 clearance, 5 recoveries, never dispossessed, never dribbled past. Those aren't just solid numbers, those are shutdown numbers against Serbia. Away from home, in a World Cup qualifier. The Telegraph dropped the most important line of all. World Cup starter chances, likely squad player with players returning to add competition in the fullback areas. Translation, Tino Livramento is officially in England's World Cup conversation. Not as a maybe, not as a hopeful, as a likely squad player with starter chances. Here's what this means for Newcastle's season. We've got an England international playing with confidence that only comes from knowing your national team manager trusts you. We've got a left back who just proved he can handle the biggest stage in international football. And we've got a 22-year-old who's about to enter his prime years with World Cup experience. But let's be honest about something the media won't tell you. This performance wasn't a surprise to anyone who's watched Livramento at St. James Park this season. The consistency. the defensive solidity, the partnership with Gordon. It's all been there. What changed was the recognition. BBC Sport, the Telegraph, the Mirror, Standard Sport. They all saw what we've been seeing. A Newcastle player who belongs on the international stage. A defender who doesn't just survive big moments, he thrives in them. And here's the question that should be keeping other Premier League clubs awake at night. If Tino Livramento had dominate for England in Belgrade, what's he going to do to their wingers when they come to St. James Park? The national media delivered their verdict. Universal 710s, universal praise, universal recognition that our boy belongs at this level. But the real verdict comes from the Toon Army. Were you surprised by Livramento's performance? Did you see this coming? And more importantly, do you think he's about to become undroppable for both club and country? Because after what happened in Serbia, that's exactly where we're heading. Smash that like button if you think Tino Livramento just announced himself on the world stage, and drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every Toon Army comment. Are we watching the birth of our next England regular? Let me know what you think. Until next time, stay proud, stay loud, and always keep the faith. Away the lads.